Well, good morning, folks. Happy Sunday. For some reason, don't know why, a little technical snafu after I started the stream. If you are watching or used to watching over on the Instagram channel, it is not clicking in. It's telling me to refresh that, and I can't do it without ending the whole stream and redoing it. So for some reason, that didn't work this morning. And I don't know if we're showing up over on Facebook as well. Something happened. I think it's because I had to change a password on something else completely different. Yep, we're showing up over on Facebook, so we're good there. And so if you're watching usually by Instagram, that's not coming up this morning. So welcome anyway, Sunday morning. Happy Sunday. It's 9:03 and 15 seconds past the hour on Sunday morning, Central Standard Time. A little bit after 10 o'clock on the East Coast, a little bit after 7 a.m. over on the left coast. So welcome. I'm glad that you're here. And thanks for coming in. And I'm going to get rid of the banner like that. And we're going to put on our Sunday morning banner. Boom. There we go. So how's everybody doing today? What's going on? We've had interesting week all together. And I want you to take a look at something. I do, as you know, I do my, well, maybe you don't know if you're new to the program, but I do a daily, most of the time, most days, reading over on my TikTok channel, just a single card. I was doing 3 cards at one point, and I've got to just doing a single card every day. And this morning I drew a card, and it was, of course, the death card. If you were over at TikTok and you saw this, there it is. Now, this is in Cat Black's Golden Tarot is where this card comes from. I love her work, and I use her card deck usually. I'll use the Golden Tarot. I use the Touchstone Tarot, both done by Cat Black in New Zealand about 20 years ago or more. She made these decks. And so I wanted to start off the show talking about this. And for some reason, it came up heavily in my mind as I was shuffling the deck. And then there it is. It appears. I thought, I wonder if I'm going to get the death card today. Or it was on my mind. And I don't know how much kinetic energy we put into the cards when we shuffle. But I think that if I believe that there is something that governs the shuffle of the deck of cards, meaning something out there that's different than just the natural course of events. You can call it God. You can call it angels. You can call it devils if you want. You can call it the universe, your spirit guides, whatever it might be, governs the shuffling of the deck of that card, of this deck of cards. And does that mean it will, like transport out one card and put another one in its place so you get it? No, I think there's an interesting old biblical verse that talks about it's maybe one of those hidden realm things, but it talks about God created the universe and he holds it together, and by him all things subsist. They exist and they continue going. So that's what I think happens with the tarot. The universe is so intricate. If you look at it on a atomic level, a subatomic level, all these things that work together that wouldn't work normally unless this were in place or that. And it's so intricate, it's unbelievable. And so I believe that certain cards come up in certain ways for certain reasons, especially if you ask. And I have yet to find a reading where I feel like I've been fooled or, gotcha, coming from the universe or from God. And so when I drew this card this morning, after the thought was in my head, that's happened to me a couple of times since I've started doing these TikTok readings. I'll get a certain card or an idea in my head and say, wow, that would be an interesting card for today. And boom, it comes up. So the death card. What's the death card all about? It's a card that doesn't deal with actual death, although it could refer to somebody dying. It doesn't mean you're dying if you draw the card, even though we all die. We may be on the road to death, but this isn't about death, physical death. It's about transformation. It's about endings. It's about letting go. It's about transitioning. It's about release. And if you happen to read strict reversals, and if it came up in the reversal, it's about fear of changing, fear of repeating negative patterns, this resistance to change, or a stagnancy that could set in, or some kind of a decay. But it came up in the positive, and I don't read strict reversals because I think every card has an inherent positive and negative. But the death card is, in some decks, death is on a white horse. Not in this particular deck. Cat Black chose a different way to depict this. But there, in some decks I've seen, even her other deck, it shows a skeleton, the bones being the only part of the human body existing after death. And it's the idea of all classes of humans eventually go into the dirt or return to from dust you were created, to dust you shall return. So it's a symbolic card. But death is one of the most feared cards in the tarot. It's very misunderstood. It's also one of the most misunderstood cards in the tarot. And many people avoid mentioning this card, or they avoid reading it because the card has that much power to it. And the fear of death has that much power in it. Do you fear death? I don't know that I so much fear death. I might be a little nervous about how I'm going to go out, do I want to have a long lingering illness and have my last days drag on for months or years without the ability to function well? No, that's scary to me, that possibility. I heard on the news this morning, Rainey was getting ready. She had to go into her Dollar General job today, just for this weekend. And because they're in the midst of transition over there. And so we heard on the news that it's that people 65 years and older are dying of Alzheimer's at a greater rate than they used to. And I thought, 65? That's only like a year and 3 months away for me when I hit 65. And so I thought, wow, there are things going on. And Roger, I see a lot of stuff you're typing. I want to mention that. Let me get to that in a minute because I want to talk about it. But death is a real thing. We all know Uncle Dave. We all know Ruben Fast Horse is not dead. He's not dying. But his whole life has transitioned from a head injury. He's not who he used to be. I have lost other friends. I have good, dear friends that have what is more than likely terminal cancer. I have seen my friends fall off over the last few years. And I think there are times I say tongue in cheek, but I put the energy out there. I'll live to be 104 and be vital. But there are things that go on with my body that I'm like, oof, am I going to make it 10 more years? Am I going to die in my 60s? Am I going to die in my 70s, my 80s, my 90s? Will I make it to 100? Do I want to make it to 100? Will my body function after a certain age? How many vital years do I have left? And face it, folks, it comes up. What about, as we grow older, sexuality? How long can you function sexually and enjoy it? I saw an article recently that talked about, people in their 80s still can enjoy sexual activity together. Well, I'm like, okay, I'm all for it. Boom, let's go. But there are questions that we have as we age, what's going to happen to us? Now, this card doesn't deal with dying. It deals, however, with not putting, with the transition of one thing to another. Something has died in essence. It's over. It's done. And the real meaning of the death card is actually one of the cards with the most positive message in the whole tarot deck. The death card signals that one phase has ended or is in the process of ending, and a new one's going to start. You just need to close the door so the new one's going to open. And the past needs to be placed behind you so you can focus your energy on what's ahead of you. It's a phase in your life that's ending and a new one is going to start, is what this card means. Now, is that not an exciting message to get? Even though it's symbolized by death and the darkness of death, it just means things are changing. Something's going to be different. You're moving on into something. It doesn't say whether it's positive or negative. It just says the thing in the past is gone. It's not there anymore. It's not governing your reality anymore. And so it's all about changes in your relationships. It's changes in your romantic life, it could symbolize. It could be the ending of a relationship and entering into something new and better, a new phase, either being alone or going into a new relationship. It could be a job transition, a career transition, leaving an unfulfilling career and moving into something that's better for you, maybe starting your own business. It could also stand for financial loss, that you have to adapt to the loss and you have to change your views on how your money is going to work for you and help you with this, with your material well-being. And let's focus on love and relationships for a second with the death card. When it comes to love and to relationships, the death card, love meaning, can indicate being stuck in an emotional dynamic that no longer works. And if you're already in a relationship, for the relationship to continue, you have to learn to embrace change in the relationship. Sometimes this card can indicate that you want to end the relationship, especially if it's a bad one. It's not working well. I hate to be one that would ever say, and maybe some of this is my seminary training. And by the way, any of you can pitch in on this if you'd like to. One of the things that we taught theologically when I was in my ministry days was that divorce is not something you just do. Oh, this isn't working. I got to find somebody who's better acclimated to me, somebody who's more compatible with me, things like that. Divorce was never, it should never be, I believe, something that you just enter into because, oh, I just need a change. When you make a commitment to be in marriage and you make that permanence, does it mean anything? Or is it just, oh, we got to go through this to get married and, we can end it if we don't. Well, if we don't like it and it doesn't work. Aren't you supposed to kind of figure that stuff out ahead of time? Isn't this where human commitment comes in? The human heart, the will. I've always said infatuation is natural. Love takes work. I can be in love with my wife. I can be in love with somebody and have that love take a team of wild horses to separate me from that love. But sometimes that takes work. When you're together, you work on how to make things work. And if it becomes overwhelming for you, or it doesn't work, or it's darkness and it's bad, those are the times where if you can't make that thing work and it continues to be problematic, then something you sometimes have to take a second look at. But I think that there are only really a handful of legitimate reasons to end a marriage. This is my personal philosophy. We used to call it the 3 A's. It was adultery, um, abuse, and alcoholism, which we use that to make the 3 A's, or substance abuse. And there are reasons that are justifiable, and you do it because you have to do it. If it's because, oh, I'm just too busy at my job and we're just doing different things, and I like to camp and he likes to watch Star Trek or whatever it might be. Those are just things that pop into my head. Maybe there are things you need to work on as opposed to just ending it. So the death card might mean if you're in a relationship, there has to be some transformation take place. There either has to be something that has killed it, it's dead, it's gone, it's over, and you need to move on, or you have to work on both of you growing together. And while initially scary, when this card comes up, it can bring to love. What it can bring to love is also something that's very positive. In less stressful terms, it can be the coming of a new era in your relationship. It can be the coming of an engagement or a marriage, death to the single life, and the new door is opening. So, death card, major transition in relationship. Let's say it's your career you're looking at. You've been considering a career change. The upright death card can be this signal that you should take the plunge. You should act now. Like I look at Roger, who does his golf course frisbee stuff, frisbee golf, whatever you call it. Stepping out and doing that was a major transition for him. So maybe you've been through a period of apathy, disinterest in your job, frustration. You should not take decisive action because events in life may force you to make a change. But you might be clinging to your current path because it offers stability. It's the weekly paycheck. It's certainty, it's safety. But if you're otherwise unhappy or feeling unchallenged, maybe this is the death card is speaking to that. There's much more to lose than your comfort. It's like I look at some people that have been in a job for 25 years, 30 years, 40 years, and it's not something they ever enjoyed. It didn't make their life better. It maybe enabled them financially to do the things on the weekends and their 1 or 2 week vacations per year, but it's not something that brought joy to their life or happiness. Is life about seeking happiness? Is it about seeking joy? Is it about finding the things that make life work better for you? If that's just a paycheck, I hate my life. I hate 40 hours a week of my life, but I do it because my joy and my happiness are enabled by going to do the thing that I hate doing. I hate getting up on Monday mornings. I hate, or whatever. Do you get up on Monday morning and go, yes, I get to dive into my job today. I love this. I love my life. Sometimes the jobs we have don't offer enough to get by. And that creates what I've said in the old saying, money doesn't buy happiness. No, it doesn't. But the lack of money can certainly buy an awful lot of unhappiness. Unhappiness is cheap. Happiness, it seems, is always expensive. So, are there things in your job or your career that you need to change? Maybe the death card is signaling to you it's time to make a change. Maybe it's time to take that step and do something differently. What's the 20 years from now, you'll regret more the things you didn't do than the things you did do. Do you want to get 20 years down the road and say, I wish I'd have done that thing back then? It doesn't have to be 20 years. It could be 3 years. could be 10 years, could be however long. Are you clinging to your current path only because it offers stability, certainty, and safety? But if you're otherwise unhappy or feeling unchallenged, there's much more to lose than just your comfort. So when one door closes, another one usually opens. Embrace the shifts occurring right now and dive in. How about your finances? My finances can suck sometimes. I really hate it. Rainey and I sometimes go from month to month saying, we made it last month. How are we going to make it this month? Because things have changed and transitioned. What are the things we have to transition into? Why have I been teaching myself tattooing? Because I want to try to enter into a new phase of doing something that will be creative and at the same time produce a better income. So these are the things we have to look at. Loss is signaled by the death card, meaning that you may unfortunately be dealing with a loss in your financial resources, but this period can be the initiator of transformation. As my art business or being hired as a book illustrator, things like that, started to dwindle off a little bit, I said, I've got to find new avenues. Sometimes you feel like, I don't want to go through this again. I thought I had wrangled this a long time ago. 40 years doing the same thing. Sometimes you got to transition. You got to make things new. And the lessons that you can learn from this time can lead to all these practical changes when it comes to managing your resources, as well as to spiritual changes in knowing what's really important to you. So how about the idea of, with the death card, it's clear that it's all about transition. What if you're resisting the change? What if you're resisting a change in relationship? I've always had this relationship. I'm not going to change it now. What if it needs changing? What if there's a failure to change the negative emotional patterns that go on in your relationship? What kind of life are you going to have? Do you want to be that old couple one of these days that walks down the lane holding the hands, even though you may walk with a cane or you may not be able to go as far? Your hair's all white or it's gone. You're not the young, vital, impassioned people that you used to be, but you still have that love burning. Do you want that to be what you are? Do you want to be, I've stuck in this thing and I've been stuck my whole life and I'm going nowhere. It's taking me nowhere. It's dragging us both down and we're not finding ways to make it work better. We're just dwindling in the murk. Which one do you want to be? Roger says weekly paychecks are nice, but I prefer the hope and pray method that comes with your own business. Somehow, simply being happy with what to do is more comforting than being financially stable. Yeah, Roger, I love working for myself. I don't think I would do well working for somebody else, where I had to abide by their punch clock or their hours or their, there have been times Rainey have said to me when we've had a lean month, well, maybe you need to go work for Walmart. And it's like, no, I don't think I need to go work for Walmart. I think I need to put that energy into finding new ways and new avenues to grow what I do. So, and that's, she doesn't nag me with that. It's just comes up in conversation. So what are the things that you're doing? What is the thing? Let me ask you, if I show you this death card and say, this is the card I drew for today, this is where we are today, this is something you want to consider today, transitioning from one thing to another, what does that do for you? What meaning does that hold for you? That's a good question we all need to ask. And that's what the death card is all about. The death card is all about transitioning from one thing to the next because the old is gone. It no longer works. It's back there. It's no longer valid. what is valid now. There's death is the door to new life. Roger says, Carly and I will be driving our jazzy scooters, holding hands, still pulling Kinsey in a wagon. We'll be in our 80s. She'll be in her 60s. And I will still have a smile on my face. There you go, brother. That's what relationship is. Or could you ditch? Either one of you could ditch that and go do something else. But is that what brings the happiness and the fulfillment? So sometimes, though, says JP, as much as one may not like it, they have to do what they have to do for a while. And that may require the proverbial working stiff 9 to 5, Walmart shorter to cook, etc. Truth, absolutely. So what do you do when you have to do that? We've talked about it before. You bring your attitude. You make you be there. You're in the moment. You make it work. And if it's not something you like to do, complain about it in your head, but outwardly you say, it's not putting on an act, and here, I'm going to do my tap dance now. You buckle down and do it. As JP just said, you do what you have to do in order to make things work. That doesn't mean it's going to be your whole life. It doesn't mean, oh, woe is me, I've transitioned into something that I don't like. You do what you need to do. Doing what you need to do, what does that do? Builds your own character, builds your own integrity, and it takes care of business at the same time. So you can move back eventually into that thing that is the thing you need to be doing, that you want to be doing. So, yeah, I get that. So that's the death card. That's the card I drew for today. I used the Golden Tarot, by the way. This is Cat Black's Golden Tarot. And she put this together. I think I had this one, this deck, long before she came out with the Touchstone, which I use traditionally. So there you go. That's what that's all about this morning. Hey, guys, if you want to call in, I am going to put up the link in the chat room. And again, if you've come over here from the Instagram page, welcome. It's supposed to be broadcasting live on Instagram, but something went haywire in the stream link this morning, and it didn't tell me that until I started broadcasting live, so I couldn't do anything about it. Without ending this broadcast, then I would have had to start a whole new thing, and that's ridiculous. So if you were looking over there, you like watching it over there, it's now not there. So it just says connect your streaming software, which I had done last night when I put this up. So there it is. So, and I did it late last night. I think it has like a 12-hour life on the link. I did it after 9 p.m. last night, so who knows? By the way, hoist your coffee. I have iced coffee this morning. So, I like hot coffee, but in the summertime, I really this summer got into icing my coffee, and I like it. It's a great drink. Sometimes when it's really hot, I don't feel like drinking a hot drink. And sometimes I want a hot drink, but so here it is. It's just regular coffee. I do my French press, and then I add a little bit of vanilla creamer to it, and it's a bit like a chai, or I suppose it's like a latte. My kids want to go out and buy for $4.50 a bottle the Starbucks vanilla flavored iced coffee. I'm like, no, I can make that at home. We don't need to spend that money. So I'm drinking iced coffee today. And we're going to have a little shorter show than normal today. At about 10 o'clock, another half an hour from now, I may need to end the show a little quicker because for my son's birthday, we are going to the Mall of America today, which is about a 45-minute drive from here, and go to their amusement park, which is in the middle of the big mall. And if you didn't know, there's a huge amusement park in there with all the rides. And so they're going to get day passes for my son. My two daughters are coming along because Rainey has to work today. She doesn't work weekends. She actually told them when she started there, I don't do evenings and I don't do weekends. And and that just came up again recently because they've had all kinds of problems keeping managers, assistant managers, and Rainey basically does it all. And she pretty much told them, I want to be kept at my current $1 an hour rate. Just she gets $20 an hour. And she says, but like when I first started, I want to be done by 3 p.m. every day. And I won't work weekends because I'm a mom with kids. And when they're in school, I want to be home when they come home from school. And I want to be available on the weekends. And so they went along with that when they first hired her. And then they had all the shakeups. And now she just told one of her regional people, said, well, we don't know if we can keep you at that $1 an hour level if you're not going to do the managerial in evenings and weekends, right? He said, that's not the agreement that's not what we agreed to when I started here, which something I found Dollar General in general, they don't really care about their people. They're one of those companies that don't put their people first. Now, maybe in certain regions or different areas of the country, it might operate differently. But from what I've seen at Dollar General, they hire people that they can use while they're there for as little as they have to pay them, use them up, and then they just move on to the next. Always hiring. We're always hiring somebody. I know Quick Trip was a little bit like that. So, hey, Ellie. So, anyway, Rainey faced a little bit of that, and she told her regional the other day something about, well, I'm not going to do the evenings and the weekends, and you need to keep me at the current rate because this is the rate I was told I would get at the very beginning, and it took me months to get the manager to get it worked out. It's because they don't know what they're doing. Some of their managers and regionals couldn't manage their way out of a wet paper bag. So that's my opinion, my take on it. And they don't keep their word. They will tell their employees whatever they think their employees need to hear to get their employees lulled into continuing to do their job. And so Rainey told her, hey, I'm going to bring JP in. Rainey told her regional manager the other day, she said, look, she said, if you can't keep me at my current rate and you can't give me she said, I can just walk. And the regional manager's response, rather than going, oh, well, we don't want you to do that. What can we do to keep you? How can we work this out? The immediate response was, I don't cater to threats. Rainey said, I'm not threatening you. I'm just telling you. If it doesn't work for me,
promise.
I have no, what is the dangling carrot to stay here if you're not going to abide by what I was told I would get at the beginning and what works for me? She said, if it doesn't work for me, I'll just go do something else that does work. And so all of that to say, that's why she's not here today. They don't have a manager there. They've had 2 managers walk. I mean, literally walk off the job in the last 3 months. And she's good at what she does. She could manage that place inside and out. But they would prefer to do things the way they're doing. I even put in an application. When they were looking for a manager, I put in an app and I said, I'll come in and be a manager. I said, be nothing more than have my wife working under me. Bada boom. But yeah, they don't care. Says Field Guy. They can hire someone else that they, and Dollar General up here, even in small town Wisconsin, Rainey had working with her people that were, she had what we affectionately refer to as tweakers. You all know what they are. And, stealing things and caught stealing things. Video, right on video, filling garbage bags when nobody else is around in a cart, pushing it outside and throwing it in their car. So, those kinds of people, drug people, things like that, drug and alcohol. And you can tell the difference. I'm sorry. You can tell the difference in somebody because sometimes you just look at them. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure it out. What? Oh, yeah. There were people that stole from the cash register too.
Jesus.
And it's right on camera. So anyway, so Rainey's working today because they needed her to work today. Well, come around, Ro. If you're going to be here, don't just cast a shadow. There you go. My kids, we have to go to step into the camera. There you go, so everybody can see you. What's this for?
Mac and cheese. She came down here before I went to the kitchen.
Mac and cheese. There have been 5 boxes of this made in our house in the last 30 hours, and I'm like, why? Why is that all we're eating? Sometimes we do get into that mode where we're not really cooking meals. We'll do during the week. Sometimes it's like, hey guys, we got the refrigerator stocked, the freezer stocked with processed shit like this, the teriyaki chicken lo mein meals you throw in the microwave for 5 minutes and you got a meal. And sometimes that works the best because everybody's busy. Other times we like to have sit down. I made a turkey last week. What?
We just to the Dollar General and get the card for Mom so we can buy me shoes.
Okay.
Just saying.
All right.
Texted me and told me to tell you.
All right. Fantastic. Mom's got the card with the money on it this week. So, there's my talking about that stuff. JP, what's on your mind today?
Not much. I was going to say, I don't know, listening to Rainey's woes and obviously the not caring about their employees. If there was and I don't know where you are in relation to one or how remote you are, etc. But if there was like a Costco nearby,
yeah,
they treat even their part-time employees, seasonal hires, stuff like that, very well, and they pay good. Very well. So,
well, come around, Flynn.
Could be an option if there's one nearby. If she wants to walk and wants to keep, doing some hours during the weekend.
Tarzan has joined us, by the way. There he is. How you doing, son? What's up? Bad? You don't feel good today? Do you still want to go? It's your birthday thing. One moment, please, folks.
It's starting to irritate.
Okay. Well, we'll see how the day goes. We're going to leave in about an hour-ish. So my son's big birthday thing we've been planning all week, where I've got Flynn, my 2 daughters, because Rainey's working, and then 3 friends of Flynn's all going to the Mall of America to do the.
Nice.
And now Rainey got back from Alaska 2 weeks ago, and Rowan had COVID. Then Rainey got COVID. Now you tested positive for COVID, right?
Yeah, but I feel fine.
But she feels fine, kid. But she tested positive. Flynn now thinks he's coming down with it the last couple of days, and he feels sick. And it's like, do you want to go? Yeah, he still wants to go. So it's not like it was 3 years ago. Oh my God, you got symptoms of COVID. We better isolate you, put you in a box, and mask you. So he didn't test positive though. So he just doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
Rabies, says field guy.
I think he's pregnant.
Oh, you think he's pregnant? Oh, there you go. That reminds me. I just watched that, and I had to post it, that little clip from the life of Brian, where the
Oh, geez,
Israel
yeah.
Defense League, whatever they call themselves, all sitting around and they're talking and they're plotting. And
I want to be a woman.
I want to be a woman. What? Stan, why do you want to be a woman? And I want to be you.
It's
I want
my
you to
right
call
as a
me.
man.
I want you to call me Loretta. And why do you
Why
want to
do
be?
you
I want to have babies. What?
You can't have babies.
You can't have babies.
It's my right as a man.
It's my right as a man. Well, what are you going to do with it? You don't have a womb. You're going to put it in a box.
Yeah.
And
Where
then
is
he
he going to
starts cry.
gestate?
Yes. Well, how about we decide that we know he can't have babies, but the Romans cannot deny him the right to want to have babies. Yes, I agree with that. It's like, so that's that was for my daughter's benefit, who now left the room. Because I
More
lapsed into Monty
more
Python.
stuff that couldn't be made today.
Yeah. And that movie came out 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Almost.
Oh,
Late
yeah.
70s. So.
Right. Yeah. Interesting times. Yeah.
Yeah. And they weren't necessarily conservative thinking people. That was just the comedy of the day.
Yeah. Yeah. And people today have that hard time of looking at things through the lens of that day and appreciating, and as well as appreciating things that are it's just funny. You can, it doesn't matter who you are or what you are or whatever. Sometimes shit's just funny.
Yeah.
And you got to laugh at it.
I saw John Cleese in an interview a few years ago. I mentioned this once before, where he's saying, he was asked the question about being offensive to people of different heritages. And this 4, 5, 6 years ago, something. And he's, oh, well, he says, nothing's off limits. It's comedy. He says, you laugh at every reason. You have to laugh. And he says, well, except for the Mexicans. He says, you can't make fun of the Mexicans, but everybody else is on limits.
Right.
So, but
yeah, I'm not sure how much that flies these days.
Yeah, probably not. And Field Guy says he's never had COVID and never will. I'm immune to government BS. There you go. I've had COVID twice, and I haven't had any of the chemicals they want to put into your body to avoid it. None of us have here, but we've got antibodies. Personal. YouTube gods, I'm not disseminating medical disinformation, which I've been tagged for a couple of times in the last few months. It's like, I don't disseminate any medical information on this show. All I will say is that in my personal case, after we had COVID, our antibodies against COVID 2 years later were still through the ceiling. Now I got it. It was 2 years ago I got it. It was when we went to Disney with my daughters, so about a year and a half afterward.
Yeah.
After I first had it. Then I had it 2 years ago. It knocked me down for about 3 days. And now it's back on my feet. And doing fine. And the kids, when the kids have had it, it's like a bad cold for them.
Right.
They would bounce out of that. Maybe it's probably my age and stuff like that it knocked me down for a few days. But it was like, I'm just going to go to bed. But I get that even now. And then not COVID related. I just want to go back to bed. I wake up, I feel wide awake. Oh, I'm awake. My mind's working. And I sit up on the end of the bed and I go, oh, I think it's time for a nap. You know?
Right.
So
yeah, we've all been there, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hey, Morgan Snow. And by the way, hey, everybody. I haven't said hey to. Don't you say hey to me, you ugly little girl. That's from To Kill a Mockingbird. Mrs. Dubois. Hey, Mrs. Dubois. Don't you say hey to me, you ugly little girl.
Is that the Scout? She's saying that Scout?
Scout. Yep. Yeah. Scout. Every time I say Scout, I want to lapse into Gregory Peck. Well,
Right.
Scout. Sometimes you have to walk around in a person's shoes, and whatever. So,
Walk around in a person's shoes. Blah blah blah. Yeah.
Gregory Peck.
See, anytime Gregory Peck's name comes up, I don't go to Kill a Mockingbird first. I go to 12 O'Clock High.
Yeah, 12
That's
o'clock line.
that's my immediate go-to with Gregory Peck.
I don't know why. I think To Kill a
Figure out-
Mockingbird because it made an early impression on me.
Oh,
Before I
yeah.
was into the older, I was in 9th grade when I first saw
Mhm.
Kill a Mockingbird, the movie. And at that point, the movie was only about 10 years old
Right.
when I was in 9th grade. So that movie came out, I think, in the mid 60s, late 60s.
Yeah.
I probably saw it for the first time in 1974.
Yeah.
So
it was crazy. My youngest, when they were, somewhere between kindergarten and like 3rd or 4th grade, looked exactly like Scout in that movie.
nice.
I mean, like
nice.
it was ridiculous. So, yeah.
My older daughters, my twins, had the little noses and the freckly cheeks, and they. So yeah.
Hey, I got to back on out. Something's come up.
All right.
I'll catch you guys later.
Good to see you. Talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.
All right, folks. So, yeah, we've only got about 15 minutes at most left this morning because I need to leave the show early today because we have festivities going on and I've got to be done around 11 o'clock. And so those of you who are here, if you would like to call in, you are welcome to call in. I think, did I even post the, yeah, there it is. Let's do it again. If you want to call into the show and talk about things for a couple of minutes, that's all the time we got today, just a couple of minutes. By the way, I've got some interesting guests lined up for the Intrepid radio program this week. We're going to talk about some interesting topics that all fall under the realm of this. We've been talking about the unseen realms. And so we're going to fit some other things. I've been mainly sticking to old kind of biblical mystery types of things with the unseen realms. We're going to delve into things that are now outside that realm, but still those unseen realms, the things we don't think about every day. And, it's the idea of saying just because I have to live a regular life, I have to have a job, I have to put food on the table, I have to keep the electric bill paid, and the water bill, and the gas bill, and the mortgage. And if you have any kind of enjoyment at all in life, the internet bill, the phone bill, our bills are pretty easy. We've got, we've got 2 charge cards, 2 Visa cards that we pay, but we pay those off usually every month. Very small payments. We don't want to build those up. And so we don't have debt that way. But we've got just the daily stuff, which is, and so if you're working a day-to-day job, we sometimes, and you mow the grass, take out the trash, you do your things, change the oil on your car, go to work, whatever it is. We sometimes, not sometimes, most often people don't even think about the unseen realms, the things that are out there, the things that we're surrounded with, and that are constantly there in that spiritual realm. Why? Just because all we experience in the day-to-day, because we've secularized our lifestyles, why do we start acting as if the spiritual doesn't exist? So that's what we do, though. So we got a couple of cool guests coming up, and we'll make some announcements on Monday. Tomorrow, Once I firm up those plans, I think on Wednesday night and Friday night, we have some pretty interesting guests coming on. I've got Nancy Planetta, who is going to come on along with some of these guests, either on Wednesday or Friday. I'm not sure what we decided on that yet. So it'll be a fun week that you won't want to miss. The Intrepid Radio program right here, 9 p.m. Central, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And if you can't figure out the Central time, just remember Central time's 1 hour after East Coast time. So if it's 10 o'clock there, it's 9 o'clock here. And it's 7 o'clock on the West Coast. So there you go. Nancy always has great insight, says Roger Rabbit. Yes, she does. Hey, Susie Q, good morning. So, Field Guy, it's not too early to start drinking. It's never too early to start drinking. You have to decide what you want to do with your day. Sometimes it's nice to have a little Irish cream in your coffee. And no, I don't today. It's just vanilla cream in my coffee. Sorry to hear that, Susie Q. She's been under the weather. My whole house has been. So far, knock on wood, I haven't. But COVID going through my house, starting from the top down, Rainy and all the kids. But not like it was 4 years ago when it all first started. So let's see. Roger said I wanted to get back to some of what Roger was saying very early on today. Sitting outside having coffee was so comfortable until summer decided he wanted to come back. Ain't that the truth? Yeah, it's going to be today right around 91, 92. And that's doable. I can handle heat, but when it's combined with the high dew points and the high humidity, I'd rather stay inside. Thank you very much. It's not my kind of weather. Though I can endure it, there's times I can go out and do stuff. I don't like walking to the mailbox and breaking out in a sweat because it's so damn humid. That's not fun. So it's going to be that way for a couple of days. And then by next weekend, we're supposed to have like a 20-degree drop through the course of the week. That's the long term. Next weekend, it's supposed to be around, the low 70s. So we'll see what happens. Fall's coming. Autumn's on top of us. It's coming. So there it is. Let's see. Oh, my daughter. Send pics from the mall. Hope it's all enjoyable day for all today. So, message from my daughter. I wish, Abby, that you would come on. Let's see. I'm going to tell her on radio. Come on. And let me introduce. Let's see if she'll do it. See if she'll hit that link and come in and join us for a few minutes. My daughter, Abby, one of my twins. We'll see what's up with her. Sciatica is so awful. Susie Q. I have that from time to time. I was a little hunched over the other day, and I had to go in. Just went into the chiropractor. Standing up was like, oh my God, I don't know if I can stand up straight this morning. Sciatica, yeah, it's awful. I get that. I've got that old injury in my lower back that they said when you get older, you're going to struggle with that more. I guess I've reached that point, huh? So, yeah, so that's it. Sciatica sucks. I'm just going to tell my daughter I'm going for a few more minutes. Wow, I ate up that 15 minutes, didn't I? So it was just quarter of, and now it's 3 minutes of. Yeah, I don't want to be old either, Susie Q. That's the thing. Like I said at the beginning when we were talking about death, death doesn't, I'm not afraid of death, but I don't like growing old. I don't like having things not work the way they used to work. I don't like, my hips hurt. I don't like, my body's not as flexible as it used to be. That sucks. So we got to do extra things to stay on top of that. I don't like bones and joints not working right. So there it is. We'll do a show on old age here pretty soon. And, I'm old, but I'm not elderly. So some of us are in that young old. I'm young old. I'm not old yet. Oh, yeah. Roger Rabbit's got it too. Came from getting rear-ended in 2012, 12 years ago. Back has never been the same. I don't know where mine came from. It first surfaced in the Marines, and they called it an existing condition. And if I was a little smarter back when I was in my early 20s, I would have done something about it back then. So I just got medically discharged. So, and I could have pursued it. I had a liaison tell me a few years ago that I could pursue that. And he looked into it, and we got word back from the Marine Corps saying, oh, you needed to report this within 1 year of it happening. Well, what if something doesn't affect you till 40 years out? Oh, you didn't report it 39 years ago. We can't help you. But it's a direct correlation. So I can pursue it. Just haven't taken the time to pursue it. So yada, yada, yada. So we got about a minute left. I don't think my daughter's going to make it in here today. Well, she saw my message. Maybe she'll try. If she comes in, we'll stick around for a few minutes. And because I'd love to bring her on. Abby, if you're out there and you see the show, come on in. Let's talk for a couple of minutes. I'd still like to have you guys on. You and Bryn on to talk about Finfolk. I've only been saying that for 3 years, and we've never lined it up. Let's do it. And I'd love to have you come on and talk about what you do. But you should just come in this morning, Abby, just so I can introduce you. I think it'd be fun. This is my old... Nobody even knows who you are other than me talking about you. So I'll wait around for a little bit. So special gummies are what help the best for me. Oh, special gummies? I had some special gummies once. They work. It helps the best for me. Just depends on when I can afford them. That's the truth. Yeah, there was one little jar I had that was about this big, about like that. $65 for special gummies that would help my back and help me sleep. They take all the pain away. Then I can use them. When I can use them, though. Now, the nice thing is that my brother-in-law is into, because of the laws in Minnesota, he can grow the stuff to make special gummies, and he does. He brings me stuff every now and then.
I went in the backyard and I heard the ice cream truck, so I went to get.
You went and got ice cream.
Uh-huh.
Happy breakfast. Your sister's having mac and cheese. How about that? So we'll eat something before we go. We're going to be done here in a few minutes. So, and an hour earlier than normal. I'm going to be taking off today because I've got family things to do today.
Look, I straightened my hair.
Susie, I only do edibles when I go to bed. You did what?
I did my hair.
We showed your hair the other day. Look at that.
No, I straightened it.
Oh, you straightened it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then I want to show them my outfit. For the mall, I'm gonna wearing this one. I'm wearing this Lululemon fanny pack, and then I got this Faith or Fear shirt.
Roger Rabbit says you should have saved that money for the mall. You have any money for the mall?
Yeah.
How much you got?
$5.
She's got $5 to go to the Mall of America.
Then,
Woo! You're buying.
and then I'm wearing lower it.
Let's see those shoes.
And then I have these teal Converse.
Those are
with
cool
Nike
shoes.
socks. And the rubber band I got from Dollar General.
There you go. Rubber band from
and
Dollar General.
These necklaces.
There you go.
I got these at Disney.
From the mouth of a 9-year-old. I got $5 to go to the mall. Well, don't spend it all in one place, huh? So, what do we got? That's all we got. That's all I got.
We're gonna ride
Sweet
rides all
shoes,
day.
says Roger Rabbit.
We're gonna ride rides all day.
Yeah, they're going to ride rides all day. Dad is not riding rides. You know, that is one of the talk about old age, Susie Q. Something I can't do anymore. I used to love posters and I used to love all that. I can't do it now. It kills me. It makes me, I'm dizzy enough in my head without that. I'm walking motion sickness most of the time. My head is just like, ugh.
You're too old for that.
So I'm not too old for it. My body, I could be twice as old as well, not twice as old.
You're 70.
I could be in my 80s and do roller coasters if I didn't have the inner ear thing going on.
Did you know that he's 70?
Oh yeah, I'm 70. Is that Mom? Did Mom come in?
No.
I think she took a break. I hear footsteps up there. And the dog's barking. So yeah, I'll be 64 in November. And for maybe the last 10 years, my behind my eyes, and it's just like, I've asked my doc about it, the constant dizziness. And I've never had vertigo. I've never had that kind of thing. So it's weird. I would say take a good book with, I was thinking of bringing my painting stuff and finding a table out of the way where I'm not showing it to the public, but just want to sit at a table. I could bring my paints and my illustration and be working on that. I've been working on, if you've seen my Facebook and Instagram posts, this is that military art I've been working on. And this is where it's at so far. So it's getting there. This military piece. It's almost like paint by numbers right now, because I'm just taking the stuff I've drawn and painting it in and adding the color. And so this will be the full piece. I could take this and then my whole paint kit is this. I mean, this is what I use. Just carry this little thing. It's full of my paints, and I use the inside of the top as a palette. And there you go. I could just take those along and sit somewhere and paint. All I need is a cup of water. So there you go. Yeah, they walk up to you and bother you and ask what you're doing. I don't mind that so much, but I don't want the perception to be that I'm out painting in public in a mall so people can stop me and talk to me. I just do it because it's stuff I have to get done. And I could do it. The problem is I don't have a flat file anymore. I used to have a big flat file folder, like a briefcase, except it's flat and zips up. That disappeared over the years. I don't know where it went. So sounds dangerous to do in public. Might be hoodlums walk by and vandalize your painting. Might be. Throw something on it or mess around. That's the thing. Maybe could I go sit in a restaurant and do that? There's not many restaurants that are going to let you just sit there for 5 hours. So the amusement park closes at 5. My kids were all saying, we want to go till it closes. Well, it closes at 5, thank God. So we're going to try to be there around noon. So the Mexicans will put a phone in your face asking for money to buy food. Maybe. I haven't experienced that at the Mall of America yet. So, yeah, buy coffee. I'll bring a good book. Sit on my phone, bring a good book, etc.
When I went to go get this, teenagers run they don't run it, but they drive it all over. And I got a compliment from a teenager.
Oh, a compliment on what?
He said that she likes my shoes.
Oh, I like your shoes too. Your shoes are cool.
They're teal.
Be careful. That Art is sitting right behind you in that chair. So she does have pants on, shorts. So all the kids are wearing these Nike shorts nowadays. So there you go. Okay. Well, folks, I think I'm going to get out of here. I don't think my daughter Abby is going to come in, even though I invited her. Oh, they're out to eat right now. So I'll just tell them, okay, another time. And smiley face. So, yeah, Abby and Bryn, my twins, they are out eating right now, brunch or lunch with their respective male counterparts. My son-in-law, Zach, married to Bryn, and Abby's, they're not married, but they've been together for ever. So, son-in-law, Dakota. And so they're out eating right now. So there you go. I love my daughter's life. Isn't that what we want for our kids? We want them to be able to experience things better than, yeah, Roger, you didn't know I had twin daughters? Let me tell you all about them. I am so proud of my kids for what they've accomplished and for where they are in life. You know, the things that they do, they just went to Tahiti and rented a catamaran and a crew for 5 days and sailed around Tahiti and Moria, I think it's pronounced Moria. And then they came home. They were home for 2 days. They had to fly to California and do a diving and yachting thing in California for their business, Mermaid Tales. And Field Guy says, no, I don't want any kids showing me up. The nerve of them, right? Yeah, right. The nerve of them. I am so proud of my kids that they've done the thing that they wanted to do, that they were a little afraid to even get into when they started it 13 plus years ago. And they're doing well, and their lives reflect it. My sons-in-law are doing well. So they have good lives, and it's good. And I love it for them. And it's beautiful. And it's so fun watching what they do. And when I have them on, when I get them on, we'll show. They've sent videos of them. They were diving with off California. They were the wild seals. I don't know if that's dangerous, but they were in the kelp beds and they were diving. And out in Tahiti, they were diving. See, for me, I always have that slight fear in the back of my head. Something's going to eat me. So they're apparently pretty well managed when they go over there and do that kind of stuff. So Roger Rabbit, thank you. Roger says, thanks for making us all an extended part of your family, Scotty. I'm sure we all greatly appreciate that opportunity. I know I appreciate it. So thank you. Well, thank you. And guys, if you want to go see what my daughters do, you can go to Finfolk, Finfolk, finfolk.com. That's their website for where they do business. And you can look at their Instagram. I think their Instagram is under Finfolk Productions. Let me just see here. I'm going to see if that's what it's under. If it's under Finfolk or if it's under Finfolk Productions. We'll see. Oh, it's making me log in. That's why I couldn't get the Instagram stream going today. I had to change my password, and everything was all linked together. And so I couldn't go live this morning over on Instagram. That's why it wanted me to sign in again. Then I would have had to put in a new stream code. But if you go to Finfolk, let's see, Finfolk, it comes up. There's Finfolk and there's Finfolk Productions. Yeah, you go to Finfolk. It's what my daughters do. And they are the best out there, the best at what they do. They're incredibly creative. And so go take a look at it. Finfolk on Instagram. and you'll see what they're all about. So anyway, that's it. That was the long goodbye. It's 10:12 in the morning. I got to go. So I got to go do stuff with the younger kids today. And you all have a great day. You all be sure to come back tomorrow. And we will 9 p.m. Central Standard Time for the Intrepid Radio program. And the rest of you, everybody there, have a good Sunday and live long and prosper.